There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not, really? It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has...
is not, really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not, really? It is to me. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to...
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her... But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz, and thank you for joining me as always. It is Monday, April 4th, 6:35 p.m. here on the West Coast. Welcome to you. Welcome. We had a couple little earthquakers this morning up here in the Pacific Northwest. Nothing major, standard stuff, but I do understand that the people in the Midwest are absolutely dealing with storms and things like that. So please be safe, and you're in our thoughts and prayers. I know I have a lot of people from the Midwest that watch this show, and friends from the Midwest as well. So everybody be safe. Yeah, I am pretty used to earthquakes. However, you know, when a really big earthquake comes, there's not really anything that you can do. There's really no getting used to that. The longer they go on, the more unused to it you get. And that's just kind of standard. You know, it's just like, well, are you used to tornadoes? Well, I'm used to them until they tore my house down. But no, yes and no. The little ones you get over really fast. The big ones you tend to get over. But we've been in some earthquakes where people were, even locals, are just absolutely gun shy for, you know, weeks. You know, every little creek is but nope, just a little God knocking on the door saying, hey, what are you guys doing down there? You treating each other well? And I said, God, we're trying. The devil attacks, but we try. You know, you can always tell how full somebody's cup is by the way that they treat others and talk about others. And sometimes you kind of just look back and say, I pray for people. I hope that things turn out well for everybody, and no enemies ever. It's not necessarily what I'm about. So God was knocking, saying, Josh, you doing everything that you're supposed to? And I say, yes, I'm trying. I don't always, but I try. But I've just noticed that, and it's not anything new. It's that I've always noticed that the people in your life that, well, not even, they don't have to be in your life. It just, you're walking down the street, and if somebody, just you wave to them and they don't even want to acknowledge you, and that's their right. But you can always tell a happy person from a sad person. You can always tell who has it in them to be gracious and humble and loving and caring, and you can find that out really quick. So keep your eyes peeled. Just keep your eyes peeled, people, and stay away. Stay away. What's the scariest earthquake you've ever been in? Well, I was in a 7.2 back in 1992. I was a youngin'. I think there was one, I think it was 2010 or 2009. That was like a 6.5, and that one was kind of gnarly as well. But Kathy says, y'all only had a 4.1. That's nothing. Well, yeah, it's nothing from where you're sitting, Kathy. That's nothing. That's funny. It was not particularly big, thank God. I'm happy about that, absolutely happy about that. And anyway, so it is so good to be here. Good to see everybody here. You guys are always fantastic and show up in the best way. And I love that about you guys. Kind of a big day, another benchmark day in the case of Summer Wells, and we'll get into all that here in just a moment. They say it's amazing what little bit of information is fed to us through law enforcement. It's amazing to me how much we can read into it, and rightfully so and unrightfully so. So sometimes we get this information, and you can read into what is said. Make no mistake, these little media drops are a shot across the bow. That's what they are. It's what they're always, their intent is to shake the trees and to renew pressure, no matter how much is said or how little is said. That's how it is. It is a warning. It is a, hey, we're still here. Time to shake it up again. And that's really what's going on here. But before we get to that, and I will share my thoughts on that as well. If you watched the last show, we spoke again about the media manager, Tim Mullen. Tim is not only is Tim a meteor, he's a mediator and a media manager. He's the original Eminem.
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family.
Yeah.
But I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family?
That's a great question. Why do you? And so I asked media manager Wells, all things holy, all things, righteous, the gatekeeper of all media, left and right. He is the mogul himself, the calendar king. And I asked him personally today. Let me read exactly what I said to him. And yes, I was nice. I'm always nice. I said, Mr. Mullen, curious as to if you have a back deal with the Wells. His response to me was, what is a back end deal, Joshua, with a question mark? He knows what a back end deal is. I know what it is. Everybody really knows what it is. But once again, he's being facetious and a turd. And as a lot of his comments on things, he's just not really, he's just kind of a jerk the way he answers these questions. And I just said, I'm just curious what a calendar photographer is doing, offering free website building for these people. That was my question. What is a calendar photographer? What is a calendar photographer doing? And he sent me a link to his website explaining exactly what it is he does. And I didn't click it, but I did watch a video that he sent me, which answered absolutely nothing. And so I ask again, what is it that you, Mr. Mullen, are getting out of this? Where did you come from? And why are you here? And as per last show, when we called out Mr. Tim and told him to please stay away from Michael Vaughn's family. And I'll go into that just a little bit more here. Very, very shortly. I sit back and I think, was I too abrasive? Was I too, whatever? And for the first time in my life, I say, no, I wasn't. I thought that, look, man, there is a man reaching out to people unsolicited, asking to build them websites for their missing children. Tim, if you got such a good heart, you could also do that for animals. I've seen those, those in the arms of an angel, where they got the little cat with the one eye and it needs a home. Why don't you build a website for that, you weirdo? But of course not. No, you want to drive people to your website. I really don't understand what a guy like him, Tim, you, I don't know if I'm talking to the audience. I don't know if I'm talking to you. But the concurrent viewer just hit 666 as I'm talking. So I must be talking to you, Tim. Okay. Thank God it's off of that now. Whew. That made me a little nervous. In the arms of an angel. Hello. My name is Tim Mullins. Have you ever wanted a cat with one eye? Well, now's your chance, because we have a whole bunch of them that nobody cares about. And I have such a good heart that I'm going to make a website for cats that have one eye, and they're going to get adopted. I don't want to know how they only got one eye. I just want you to know that they do, because that's what I do. I don't get involved in the backstory. I don't get involved in the hoopla, the blibbity ba, the ba ba ba. But if you'd like a cat with one eye, please visit my website where I have sponsors of roofing companies and paving companies and spackle companies, and in the arms of an angel. Hello, my name is Tim Mullen. Have you ever wanted a dog with 3 legs? Well, here's your chance, because there's a bunch of them up on this hill that I know. I don't know if they actually have 3 legs. I'm being dramatic. In the arms of an angel. Woof, woof, woof. Hello, my name's Tim Mullen, and I'm here to tell you that I don't actually care what happened to the dog with the missing foot, but I'm here to tell you that you can adopt it. For only 99 cents a month, I'll send you one of my calendars. January is me holding a turtle in a half shell. Turtle Power. January is Turtle Power month, and my name is Tim Mullins. In the arms of an angel. So here is what Tim Mullen says back to I would imagine it was directed at me. Because I was the one that tattled on him like a 4-year-old to the internet, and then he got called creepy a bunch more times, like he always does. By the way, and I kind of respect this, he doesn't really care about being called creepy, like at all. And Sandra Lee, thank you so much for becoming a member. You are fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Whose name's Josh? My name's Josh. Okay. Media Manager Wells, official Facebook page. Here we go. Yes, I did send an email to the family of Michael Vaughn on March 2nd. Everyone was talking about this case, and I didn't know much about it. Someone else I know was heavily brokenhearted about the case. Was it Candace? Probably not. I could not find a website or anything to get clear information. Well, I'll give you that here shortly. I'm sure you didn't look. You checked your website and didn't see it there, and that upset you. I could not find a website or anything to get clear information, so I simply offered to help the family start a website, or point them into the proper direction, or encourage them to find somebody in their area to do it for them. Oh, you're a saint. You are an absolute saint. Good for you, Mr. Mullen. You are the best. Just a good-hearted old dude. I truly believe that all missing children's families should have a website for their lost loved one. And no, I did not try to be their manager or anything. My message to them was just to let them know it's a good way for them to help promote their child. Aren't you the Wells media manager? What are you doing to promote them? You don't seem to be, you don't have all the answers, dude. I mean, it's so weird that you're failing miserably at your first self-appointed job, that you think you got to take on some more clients, which is ridiculous, because the one client that you have that's free, running around wearing NASCAR hats, is saying that she doesn't even know what you do.
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
Right. Why do you? Why do you need a meteor for your family? Well, Brandy Neal thought the same thing. Your number one client doesn't even want you. She doesn't even want you to, and you're offering it for free, which means you're not offering it for free. Anybody that offers, that kind of service, it's just weird. But there's more to it. So he said, "I am sorry for the Vaughn family I'm sorry that the Vaughn family misunderstood the intentions of my message. I asked Brandy if she did understand, and she said that she absolutely did not misunderstand." So what's the point, Tim? So he got enough crap from us talking about him that he used his precious media manager Wells website, where what he does is he reposts videos of other news channels, but he never posts any videos of his clients talking about their missing children in a controlled environment. He very well could do that, but I'm sure you can't get him to sit down long enough to do that. It's probably got something to do with the meth or the alcohol, or just the debauchery in general, the mental state of his clients, that he says he has the utmost respect for, which is great. I'm glad that you have respect for them. But you say that you don't really get involved in the case, but you do. I mean, you do get involved in the case. I didn't know that you were a missing person media manager. I thought that you made calendars with one-eyed dogs and cats on them. On the arms of an angel. Hello, my name's Tim Mullen. Have you ever heard of the internet? It's a cool thing. Somebody just taught me about it last week. That's right. And guess what? You can make websites. Yep. And I can show you how. All you got to do is pay $9.99 a month for the hosting site. That's it. And I'll give you a dog with one eye, or a cat, or a possum. You guys like rabbits? What about squirrel? In the arms of an angel. I mean, he's a different guy. So, no, nobody misunderstood what you were saying. The only people that misunderstand is you. So somebody calls him out and says, why don't you encourage your clients to do the right thing? Oh, crap. I think I just showed her. Let me go back here. Hold on. Old Joshy. Although it is a public page, so it doesn't really matter, but by myself. Don't wanna be. I like that song. All right, maybe I won't be able to do it, but let me just read you. I'll just read it to you because it's funny. Somebody asked, they said, why don't you encourage your clients to do the right thing? He doesn't have that in him apparently, but he says, and he responds, and that's another thing. He responds quite often in quite a boisterous, long, well calculated. I mean, he thinks he's really, really clever with the way that he answers these. And he kind of what he does is he tries to make himself seem overly smart. He's one of those characters. And so they said, why don't you encourage them to do the right thing, or whatever the right thing really is, which is obviously to tell the truth, but that's not going to happen. All right. So he says, so he writes back, he says, that is not my spot. They have enough quote unquote parents and quote unquote accusers and quote unquote investigators on them telling them that. I understand your frustrations though, but do you though, Tim? What they need was an unconditional friend that would not pry into their closets. I've read this before, but it just kind of strikes me every time. What the
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
so what he understands our frustrations. What they needed was an unconditional friend that would not pry into their closets or accuse them of being clean or unclean or semi-clean. So if you speak sarcasm, that's Tim going, I'm not going to judge these people, whether they're clean or not, or semi-clean. Once that friendship happened, and I'm sure it just happened so organically, I refused to bend from it. Okay, fine. The Wells family as a whole is my friend. That's just a weird thing to say. Like I said before, what I do as a friend is similar to what a court-appointed attorney would do that is a legal friend to the client. I have seen no one yet tear apart court-appointed attorneys of the Wells family yet, for obvious reasons. But that's the thing, Tim. You're not a court-appointed friend, and it's not similar. You are a calendar photographer who just found out the internet existed 5 months ago. And you made a little website on some beta program. I mean, it's really all right. I stayed out, and then he did the little, stay. He stays, and he has stayed out of the case, and probably could not. This is gonna. I hope this one resonates with you guys the way that it resonated with me. I stayed out of the case and probably could not even properly quote what happened that day as reported by the media. Can you believe that? Like, that's a good thing? The media manager to the Wells not even be able to give an accurate timeline of what happened that was reported by the media that day? I listened. What? I've spent no time thinking about the timeline. I listen to others sometimes, but I do not let it go in my memory bank. It is not my business. I trust TBI and their brilliance to handle the case. They don't need a peon like myself to think they can outperform them. To me, that is folly. But that's exactly what you are doing by being the Wells media manager. You claim to have gotten millions of views across the world for these people, for the Wells. And what they needed from you was for you to be their unconditional friend and not pry into their business. Well, he says, once that friendship happened, I refused to bend from it. The Wells family as a whole is my friend. Like I said before, what I do as a friend is similar to what a court appointed attorney would do. That is a legal friend to the client. No, what you do is similar to what somebody that has a hidden agenda has tried to do, and you don't like now that people are calling you out for slithering back and forth to people that think that you can help them. You are there to put a good spin on Dawn and Candace, nothing more. Last time I checked, that's a publicist. So you're their publicist, but you've never been anything like that before. You're a calendar guy. You're not a court appointed legal friend. The things that you say, and I know that Tim Mullen thinks highly of himself, and he thinks that he's very, very, very smart. And by all accounts, his punctuation and grammar, spelling is all right. That doesn't make you smart. It makes you smarter than some people, and you can get over on those people who aren't as smart as you. You are very good at deflecting and not answering questions. Of course, you don't have to answer any questions, but when you call somebody the well or the media manager to the Wells, you're going to get those questions. And I'm asking, and I haven't got a response. Why Summer? Why the Wells? Why this case? Because you're not helping your client find their daughter, but you are. But you're not involved in the case, but you are. But you are. You don't want to be a part of the case, but you are. And you do want to be a part of the case, but you don't. I don't know what that meant. So somebody asked, what exactly does a media manager do? Because I asked that too. But if you don't understand, there is no need of me describing the details. But I don't find Summer. What I do is help get her to the world, the masses, and maybe somebody there will find her. At Dawn's Desire, together, we got it to millions. And at last count on the past 30 days, over 49 nations via the website. But the key locations are local, state, national, neighboring countries to the United States. Mr. Tim Mullins, I know you watched the news today because I saw on your Facebook that the lead investigator did talk. And it seems as though your efforts, if you are going to continue to pontificate to us and talk down to the people who legitimately are wondering what it is that you do or what you're doing, because the transparency absolutely is not there. Forgive people. I'm not saying that I don't, I don't know what your role in anything is, but you're just not coming off well. And I know that you don't care. That's another thing. It takes somebody like you to do something like that, because you have to be able to not care what other people think, even though you're not actually fooling anybody. You're fooling yourself by thinking that you're fooling us or anybody that you just, it's phony, brother. It comes off disingenuous. And like I said, I know that you don't care because that's the kind of personality that you have. That's the kind of personality that you have. And you claim as at Dawn's desire, great. Dawn has a lot of other desires that don't need to be fulfilled. Getting Summer's name out there to the masses, we're on it, buddy. We've been on it. Longer than 5 months, Tim. I live out in California. Not a lot of people know about it out here, but apparently 49 nations via the website. 49 nations via the website. But you know, we can go down to you know, I don't know, Arizona and see how many people know about it there. I'm sure some, not a lot. Not a lot. But I'm sure some. I won't doubt that. So congratulations. You did great. So proud of you. So very, very proud of you. It's just a very phony persona. And I think he thinks he's like Jerry Maguire. I really do think he thinks he's like Jerry Maguire. Like, show me the money in the arms of an angel. I know. That's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. Vet Girl, show us your receipt, TM, that you are the media manager. Contract, pay stub, copyrights, TMS, any. What makes you the media manager?
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
Right. I agree. Why do you need a meteor for your family? And Vet Girl, as always, thank you so much for your generosity. And it's always appreciated. Thank you so much. Yeah. And that was another thing. So I saw another comment in the thread that if it wasn't for him, that train wreck of a Dr. Phil behavioral panel appearance wouldn't have happened if it weren't for him. Dawn and Candace didn't want to do it. But if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have happened. Well, another successful media appearance scheduled by the king. I thought it was Howard Stern, but the king of all media, Tim Wells. You're headed for the big show, bud. You'll be managing clients on Jimmy Fallon in no time. Maybe one day in the future, you can let one of your clients come onto my show. Just kidding. I only work with real media managers. But when I need a calendar, I'll let you know. I'll let you know when actually I won't, but I'll refer you to somebody, in Guadalajara or somewhere like that. I don't know, just somewhere that she'll get the revenge of Montezuno's revenge. Yeah, Jay says he can get me a good deal. Awesome. I'm into it. In the arms of an angel. It's just like, but what's important is that 49 nations now have the website. Tim, I'm gonna tell you something. Save your time and put a tent around that hill and then broadcast on a big screen in that house. Whoever comes in and out of that house, have it on a loop and have it say, "Where's Summer? Wear Summer. Wear Summer. It'll be cheap, inexpensive. You won't even have to really get on the internet. All you got to do is press play on a VCR or tape player or 8-track. I don't know how old you are, but that's really what needs to happen. Witchy Woman, he will never take a photo of my dog Otis. I would rather take my chances with Jack the Ripper. Oh, that was too far. DS Creer, The Lab, why you singing that song? I don't know. I don't know. Why am I? He's just like, oh. That's the question that you wanted read, really? Like, you could have asked me anything and I'd have probably read it. And then, why are you singing that song? Go back to the beginning of the show. You'll find out. In the arms of an angel. Lulu says, catch the beginning. It'll make sense. I don't know if it will. Shelly Ray, thank you so much for becoming a member. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. The question should be, why aren't we all singing that song? We'll have a sing along here in a little while. Three-legged dogs. Yeah. Hello, I'm Tim Mullen. Have you ever wanted to dream so high, but the sky wasn't high enough for you? Well, next year I'll be offering flights to Mars. You heard me. I'm sending Candace Wells to Mars. She's going to be questioned by the aliens, where she says nothing, and then they send her back. But the sky wasn't the limit, and people told her that it was. And I showed her that it wasn't. In the arms of an angel. Coffee Buzz says, send her to Uranus. It's just like, let's talk about the news clip from today. Yeah, well, we're gonna get there. Just everything in due time, guys. I have a show set up, so if we can let that unfold, it's always appreciated. In the arms of an
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
yeah. So lead investigator comes out today. Tim, if you're listening, this is for you, my friend. Ish. I'm sure that I think that by the end of this, that Tim, we're going to be friends. I think it's going to be a one-sided friendship, but that's it. But he's just like, yeah, friendish. Well, I'm sure. I don't know. We need another CM voicemail. I was actually talking about that the other day. Those are a lot of fun. But so the news comes out today, and this is what. Let me see here. I'll play it for you. I'll play the audio. And this is the lead investigator from the Summer Wells.
Nearly 10
WJHL.
No answers.
Tonight, News Channel 11 dives deeper into the disappearance of Hawkins County 6-year-old Summer Wells. For the first time, we have heard from the lead investigator with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
And tonight, he tells us what this investigation looks like right now.
Josh and Sarah, the case of Summer Wells does not look much different today than what it did when I first reported live on authorities searching out in Beach Creek back in June of last year. Now, authorities are spending more time than ever before fielding through false tips as well as false hope.
It's sporadic. I mean, one day you might get 5 leads, the next couple of days you might not get anything. But it's been an active investigation that's I've been devoted to since it first occurred.
As Summer's disappearance approaches the 10-month mark, the scenarios of what happened the night of June 15th continue to grow.
The wandering away, sneaking off to go play or whatever she may have done, that is a viable option.
The night she went missing, authorities said she walked away from her house. The following day, an Amber Alert was issued.
People are probably tired of hearing this. All possibilities are on the table. We're not completely eliminating the abduction idea, but there's nothing to lead us to believe that we need to focus on that alone.
In the height of the search, those on the ground combed through miles of tough, rugged terrain, leaving many to wonder how there was no trace of little Summer.
She was like 3 foot, 40 pounds. It would be a lot easier for her to get through some of the foliage. And she's lower to the ground, smaller body, a lot more flexible.
Along with the ground search, Pruitt says investigators have poured through data.
We have gone through reams and reams of data. We've collected statements. We've chased down every credible lead that has been given to us. And we are still not much further along than when we started. Surveillance videos, GPS locations, cell phone tracking, cell phone data, electronic data, anything that we could think of to get our hands on.
As time continues to pass since that June day, it's increasingly hard to hold on to hope.
Well, we're 9 months in. I would hope that she is still alive somewhere, but we also have to be open to the idea that that is no longer a possibility.
Pruitt says that he has never worked a case like this with so many different entities involved, and he says it's still baffling that it looks the same as it did that night that Summer was reported missing. Coming up tonight at 11, we learn more about Summer's family's relationship with law enforcement.
I mean, I could save you a little time.
Well, today, for the first time, a girl who reported missing back.
Josh and Sarah, there was frustration, some anger, and the presence of a heavy burden when I sat down with the detective John Pruitt with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
Let's see.
It is a lot to shoulder, it's a lot to burden. We have a missing child that we haven't found yet.
Almost 10 months and so much heartache. And investigators aren't immune from that hurt. The question of what happened to Summer Wells still has no answer.
There haven't been very many cases like this. I have never worked a missing child case with all these different entities and agencies involved.
The lead investigator on the case says his days are devoted to finding her.
My day, I check tip line and voicemail when I first get here. I do phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got. I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got, follow-ups on them.
They've received nearly 2,000 tips.
I will follow up on everything I can to try to bring closure for this.
Self-proclaimed online investigators and social media sleuths have turned this case into a mess of ideas. And tips have come in from everywhere across the U.S. and even overseas. That help, Pruitt says, has led to little more than time wasted.
If these people want to help so much, we always accept applications to certified individuals.
He says the investigation has led to the continued thought that if Summer is found, it will be nearby.
I believe that she would probably be somewhere close by, because we found nothing to lead us to believe that she's been abducted or trafficked out of the area.
All right, there you go. That's really all I was waiting for. And once again, try not to get too discouraged by what is said or what is not said. But yeah, I do like his we always take applications. I mean, I'm sure he's frustrated, man. It's a frustrating case. I can't imagine the kind of stuff he has to really go through. However, he believes, like most of us, that she's close. He basically said we haven't ruled anything out. It was kind of a, you know, as disappointing as some of these media drops are, to hear from the lead investigator is interesting. It's new. His boss probably told him that he needed to, but he is out there saying, for the fact of the matter is, if he said he believes that she is close, because we still don't have any clear indication that she was abducted or trafficked out of the area. We have nothing to indicate that. Well, we're going to have to take his word for that. That sentence right there tells you everything that you need to know from that interview. And I think there's a second part. He doesn't say anything much more interesting than he believes that she is close by. He wants to believe that she's alive, but you know, I know it is a very, very frustrating case. And as much of a bummer as it is to hear those words, you know, that this case is, it's not like any other case that he's ever worked. This is the most difficult case he's ever worked. And I don't know how many missing persons case this man has done. But I understand. As frustrating as it is for us, I can just imagine how much of a frustrating case it is for him. I'm sure that he gets more than his share of God, can you imagine? I can't even imagine being the lead investigator on the Summer Wells case. And he's right. Look, but social media can be out of hand. I get it. I'm a part of that. I understand what he's saying. I understand their frustrations. I get a lot of those same frustrations. And I've said before, sometimes I feel like I'm helping. Sometimes I feel like I'm hurting. My intention obviously is to help, but I understand what he's saying. We do try and maintain integrity here and talk about the things that are relevant. We're not going to show up somewhere, but discussing these cases in a professional manner. I don't feel that we're in the way in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, I totally understand that. You definitely aren't helping. Well, I mean, that's one way to look at it. So sure, I can understand you think that I'm not helping, but I can tell you that I haven't done anything here today or in the past that has slowed down the investigation, that has interrupted the investigation. So maybe I'm not helping, but I'm not hurting. I know that. I'm very careful about that. I may not be helping, but a lot of people say I am. Yeah, right. No, I'm just kidding. Josh, that was a mistype. Whoa. It's okay. Yeah, I don't. The one thing that you don't want to do is hinder. That's absolutely. You don't want to get in the way of law enforcement. We respect and support law enforcement, Tim Mullen style, on this show. You know, because he is he's a God fearing patriot. I am not interviewing Candace Wells. No, I am not. Let's see here. People need to understand that all those who change their story or lie do not need to be reported each time. That will become the job of the prosecutor's office. People need to understand. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess so. And as we do on this show, we discuss the Summer Wells case because it's become near and dear to a lot of us. But like I said, the point of it is to try to keep it respectful. And what he's saying, I'm telling you people, what he's saying is he's got to play down whatever it is. He says he doesn't, that he's not anywhere. That just can't be true. That just can't be true. I don't say he didn't say that like they're nowhere. He says the investigation looks the same. It definitely looks the same to us. But don't forget the most important part of what the man said. He thinks that summer is close by, just like I do, just like most of you do. Just like the only person that thinks that she's overseas is Tim Mullen, because he's so worried about getting Summer's name to every corner of the world. And look, if that was really what's happening, if that's what's going on, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But I just, the intentions are always, they just seem so slithery. And at Dawn's request, you have gotten quote unquote millions of views with Summer's name on it. But you know who else has done that? YouTube. For right or wrong. And I'm not saying that we're all out here doing the proper thing. I can only speak for myself, and I can only speak for what I know. But yeah, I've seen it turn into an absolute dumpster fire. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. Please don't anyone give up. That's what Dawn wants, is for people to move on to another missing persons case. I hear circus music. I like that name. Yes. Tim, who are the uppers? Well, the uppers, I think Candace was talking about law enforcement, but we can always email him. He's very accessible. He'll answer. He loves to respond. Because I'm telling you, he does at length. It's crazy, ad nauseum. He's just like, he writes back novels to people. Absolute novels. And which is nuts. Because he's got a lot of time for a media manager. But I guess that's what media managers do. And somebody asked him why he doesn't come on YouTube shows. And I'll tell you this right now, and I'll be 100% honest. I understand why nobody in their right mind would ever come on a YouTube show after seeing what it has done to so many different people. I totally understand, but that wasn't his problem. He doesn't think being creepy is the problem. He says that he won't go on because nobody will, that if he goes on somebody's show, he wants to promote his website. And he doesn't think that somebody will promote his website, and it's a waste of time for him. He says one prayer is worth more than 1 million YouTube views. Whatever the hell that means. It's just, you know, that's the never too young, never too old situation. You know, it's just, you know, odd. Becky, yes, Chris M is doing fantastic. I think he had 2 shows this weekend. I mean, he's out pumping everybody here. They said there will be more on the 11 p.m. news about the parents and Don Wells' incarceration. Should be interesting. Keep up the good fight for Summer. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, yeah, Don and Tim. I don't know where Tim and Don's relationship started, but he's friends with a predator. Good friends. The Wells as a whole are his friend. He thinks of them as an entity. They're all just like, it's just an entity. You know what I mean? It's just an entity, you know. That's what he is. Also, they will answer if the family. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. GM has a face for naughty. We're nice here, but you're right. Could they have met if they met? I don't think that they met in prison. I don't know if they did, but if they did, that would be so funny and would make a lot of sense. Weird. All right. And so I just want to say if I am we'll answer a couple questions if people do have questions. And I'll answer them to the best of my ability. If I can't answer something for you, I will try or I won't. I'll just tell you that I don't know. Because a lot of the times I don't know. And sometimes I just, kind of off the top of my head, but let me see here. I believe Tim also goes by the last name. I don't know. That I don't know. Can you get a flare? That's not a question. That's a request. But yes, of course. Get off my property. It's one of my favorites. Get off my property. Oops. That's the wrong one. Oh, man. That's a great question. That is a great question. What more? Where is Summer? That's the question. That's a good one. I don't know who the uppers are. I know who the downers are. And I know what Chasing the Dragon is. Anybody know what Chasing the Dragon? That we got a lot of that going on here. Plea bargain coming? Possibly. I mean, who knows what angles they're really working, but I'm telling you that once again, they're just not, they're not, I think especially with the attention that this has received on social media, I think the reason is that they're not really going to let anything, no cat out of the bag. Josh, did Otis react at all before? Yeah, he barked, right? I think he barked. Yeah, he barked. When I lived out there, my dog would sit and watch the front door for a few days. Yeah, I've seen some of that happen before as well. And man, dogs have really interesting instincts. You know, they know a lot. Who are the uppers? I think she meant law enforcement. I don't think it's some like skull and bones thing, but that's what I think. The uppers. She just doesn't talk very well. Kind of like
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not really news to me.
yes, it is. I love that. Lex, yeah, sure. I can do that for you. Let me see here. So this is where he says the Wells family as a whole is my friend. So Lex says Lex wants to know where he compares the says the lab. Can you please pull that up again? I'm so lost. Where he compares a defense attorney to his clients. What he's doing is he says, like I said before, what I do is similar to what a court-appointed attorney would do. That is a legal friend to the client. I have seen no one yet tear apart court-appointed attorneys of the Wells family yet. That to me just sounds like a deflection. Like he wants us to. Like he wants us to go after him. Give me 1 second here. Hold on. I have something special for you guys. It's very special. Hold on. Trust me. You'll love it. Everybody hold tight. Hold tight. Is a wannabe. Tim's a wannabe. I like that. I've always liked that. Thank you for that flair. Oh, the flute guy disappeared. So everybody just hang on for a second. I got something very something cool to show you. So don't go anywhere. In the arms of an angel. I know, it's really ridiculous. In the arms of an angel. The arms. After the news story, yeah, it was an interesting news story. I got to tell you, I found it interesting. I mean, to me, it tells me that they're just kind of hanging out still, doing their. I say hanging out still, hanging on to this case, doing their thing, and my brother's funeral song, Josh. How are you gonna hit me with that? I'm sorry about that. I know it is a beautiful song. It's the song. It is the song though that plays when it's the song. It's the song that plays on that commercial. All right, guys. Like I promised you, special guest drop in. That's what happens here on the lab sometimes. Chris McDonough.
Aloha.
What's going on, dude? How are
art
you?
thou?
I'm good. How are
buddy?
you?
Good. Thine is fine.
Yeah, good. good. So, did you
What did I miss? What did I miss? I just got home.
What didn't you miss? You know, we were talking about the media manager and we were talking about the news that the lead investigator spoke today. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
I have not. No.
All right. Let me just play it for you real quick and you can get some immediate reaction here. So everybody hang with us here as we do this. Look, Chris, they're so happy you're here. Thank you for
It's great to be here. Hey, everybody.
coming on. And somebody just asked me just a few minutes ago, how's Chris feeling? I said, well, probably well.
I feel great. In fact, I was out for my walk, doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders. Karen's got me on a crazy diet, and I took Buddy out. He's a maniac with squirrels.
Yeah, he loves squirrels, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What's his? He
really does.
He has a vendetta against those things.
He is a nut. I mean, but
So I'm going to play this here, and just the audio is really all that's important, and then we'll get your reaction on the other side.
Okay.
Well, today, for the first time, we're learning the lead investigator in the Summer Wells case is speaking out. The pressure has been immense on the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to figure out what happened to a little girl who reported missing back in June.
Ansley Daniel has been following this case closely. She has an update. Ansley?
Josh and Sarah, there was frustration, some anger, and the presence of a heavy burden when I sat down with the detective John Pruitt with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. He's led this investigation into Summer's disappearance. He told me that as difficult as this case is to work, he is nowhere near giving up.
It is a lot to shoulder, it's a lot to burden. We have a missing child that we haven't found yet.
Almost 10 months and so much heartache. And investigators aren't immune from that hurt. The question of what happened to Summer Wells still has no answer.
There haven't been very many cases like this. I have never worked a missing child case with all these different entities and agencies involved.
The lead investigator on the case says his days are devoted to finding her.
My day, I check tip line and voicemail when I first get here. I do phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got. I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got, follow-ups on them.
They've received nearly 2,000 tips.
I will follow up on everything I can to try to bring closure for this.
Self-proclaimed online investigators and social media sleuths have turned this case into a mess of ideas. And tips have come in from everywhere across the U.S. and even overseas. That help, Pruitt says, has led to little more than time wasted.
If these people want to help so much, we always accept applications to certified individuals.
He says the investigation has led to the continued thought that if Summer
That's
is
awesome.
found, it will be nearby.
I believe that she would probably be somewhere close by, because we found nothing to lead us to believe that she's been abducted or trafficked out of the area.
Pruitt works alongside the TBI and FBI. Along with the ground search, Pruitt says investigators have poured through data. Almost a year into the case, and Detective Pruitt says it still remains a very active investigation.
I'm not going to let it go cold.
So there's another, so it's a two-part thing, and that's really the meat and potatoes. In an earlier one, he talks just about how, it's a frustrating case, and, how 10 months later it still looks the same but I mean, he states very clearly that he believes that she's close. What are your initial thoughts on hearing that?
Initial impression right off the, and that's the first time I've heard it.
Right. And I saw your face when you heard what he said there at the end, but yeah, first time you heard it.
He's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually invested in finding Summer, number one. And that means professionally, he's bringing everything that he can to the table. And one of the things I picked up right away, which is probably, subtle, is there's a sense of frustration there, and not in relationship to Summer's case. Okay. But notice he said, and then I go to my caseload. Okay. What he's doing is hinting, in my opinion, to whoever his supervisors are, that he needs to still stay 24/7 on this. Okay, but there's obviously the agency is probably doesn't have the resources. He's still carrying daily cases. Okay, so that means what he's doing is he's activating, investigative, movement towards Summers' case when credible tips come in. In the interim, if tips aren't coming in, then he's still carrying a caseload. And that means he's chasing toasters or, barbecues or whatever, have been stolen in the neighborhood simultaneously. Any other cases. I mean, I don't know how many homicides a year Hawkins County has, but, and or missing persons, but you heard him say, and then I go check my daily. Okay. Well, that's cop talk for, I still have other cases coming in the door. We were fortunate in Southern California. We had a lot of volume. So when we caught a case, then we caught that case, and it was 24/7. You didn't work another case until, you were done. So, that was the first thing that caught me. The second thing there, obviously, like we've been saying from the beginning, I have not left that house. And I don't think they have either. And certainly it sounds like he hasn't. But, all things are, like he says, all things considered and all things on the table. But the probability of, again, random abduction, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I mean, if he came to us, or went to the BAU, we would tell him just that. No, don't leave the house. Stay right there on the property. And that puts into play, remember the conversation we had about, were they playing hide and seek? Is that a possibility? And is she still out? Is she out there? And did the family find her potentially? And, take the steps that they may or may not have taken at this point. I mean, there's still a lot of information that can still come out of this to the authorities, because somebody knows. And obviously it's going to be the parents.
Right. Absolutely. You know what? Let me just play, because they're real short. Let me play the, let's see here.
Thank you for welcoming.
No.
Nearly 10 months and heard from the investigation now.
Josh and Sarah, when I first reported live on authorities searching out in Beach Creek back in June of last year. Now authorities are spending more time than ever before fielding through false tips as well as false hope.
It's sporadic. I mean, one day you might get 5 leads, the next couple of days you might not get anything. But it's been an active investigation that's I've been devoted to since it first occurred.
As Summer's disappearance approaches the 10-month mark, the scenarios of what happened the night of June 15th continue to grow.
The wandering away, sneaking off to go play or whatever she may have done, that is a viable option.
The night she went missing, authorities said she walked away from her house. The following day, an Amber Alert was issued.
People are probably tired of hearing this. All possibilities are on the table. We're not completely eliminating the abduction idea, but there's nothing to lead us to believe that we need to focus on that alone.
In the height of the search, those on the ground combed through miles of tough, rugged terrain, leaving many to wonder how there was no trace of little Summer.
She was like 3 foot, 40 pounds. It would be a lot easier for her to get through some of the foliage. And she's lower to the ground, smaller body, a lot more flexible.
Along with the ground search, Pruitt says investigators have poured through data.
We have gone through reams and reams of data. We've collected statements. We've chased down every credible lead that has been given to us. And we are still not much further along than when we started. Surveillance videos, GPS locations, cell phone tracking, cell phone data, electronic data, anything that we could think of to get our hands on.
As time continues to pass since that June day, it's increasingly hard to hold on to hope.
Well, we're 9 months in. I would hope that she is still alive somewhere, but we also have to be open to the idea that is no longer a possibility.
Pruitt says that he has never worked a case like this with so many different entities involved, and he says it's still baffling that it looks the same as it did that night that Summer was reported missing. Coming up tonight at 11, we learn more about Summer's family's relationship with law enforcement, especially as her father remains jailed and lawyers are now involved.
Ansley, thanks. And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's Amber Alert for Summer remains active tonight. You can call in credible tips to 1-800-TBI-FIND.
So there's part 2 for you. I mean, it's a bit of the same as part 1, but there are some other things there to react to. Chris, your thoughts?
I go back to this is, it's a fluid situation. Unfortunately, these kind of capers are not only taxing emotionally and physically, but you get to that point where, okay, we're not getting any progress here. So what can we do next? Okay. And that's where, what the other agencies are doing, the feds with the card team, with, TBI, they're kind of running, a high level forensics problem. They're doing with what they call the cellular analysis team. It's called this CAS team, and they've done all their work. The feds have, and they've turned it over to Hawkins County and said, "Hey, here's what we have," and you heard him. Here's what we have. Here's all the analysis work on whose phone was pinging where, who was doing what, yada yada. Okay, that then probably turned into let's go talk to folks, and that was probably the multiple trips to various parties involved in this, and they didn't hear what they wanted to hear, and so it turns into, okay, well, they're not talking. Okay, yeah, they're cooperating. Okay, I mean, we may hear that later on if there's going to be another. Sounds like there's a follow-up to this. Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be top of the hour, I think. Yeah,
okay.
Top of the hour.
Yeah. So it won't surprise me, if the story's going to be, yeah, everybody's been cooperating, but everybody's still in the circle. And we heard that, from day one back, with the sheriff. Okay. Yeah. So right now, they're in an uphill climb. I mean, let's be honest here. Okay. They're in an uphill climb. They're waiting and looking for that one lead that's going to tell them, okay, hey, this is what happened, or this is what I know. Okay. One of the best moves, potentially here now, is if you've got, folks on the fence, and there are lawyers involved now. Okay. If you've got folks on the fence, then if folks in another state are looking at DW, for an example, ship him off, send him to Utah. Okay, have a great trip. Right. And over there, then, you kind of get the 3-letter alphabet.
Thank you.
Soup come in, and, see if you can figure something out. Okay. I am one of the things that has concerned me from the moment I heard it, and it was, mind you, it was in a drunken stupor. Okay. That, when CW said, well, I want to tell them. Okay. Remember when they were drunk and they were all, talking about, prayers and all this other stuff. And, she leaned into the microphone and said, I love you guys. I wish I could tell them, I really do want to tell them. Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. What is that? What exactly is that? Okay. That still needs to be told, because apparently it hasn't been told yet. And unfortunately, she put it on YouTube. Okay. And, that's a statement that's still standing out there. And I don't remember where or what, channel it was, but I heard it. I heard it clearly. And so that's the kind of, lead that they're going to have to somehow get their minds around and grab them. But they're stuck now in some ways. If they've lawyered up, hey, the cops can't talk to them anymore. It's over. Okay, for now, until they get out of jail and or, they decide that they want to cooperate. Okay. And that's my opinion.
And so he says that he won't let the case go cold, and that he'll follow every lead, and he sounds tired.
Yeah, he's exhausted, and he should be. I mean, that guy, I haven't seen him. I don't know what he looks like. I didn't even catch his name, to be honest with you, but I know what it feels like. And when you get to that place where you say, okay, we need to think outside the box here. And that's where you get a whole bunch of creative people around you, investigators, experienced investigators. You get a whole group of people around you. And, there are cases, I mean, behind the scenes, I got a case even in Texas right now where it's an 18-year-old homicide. The case is 18 years old. And we had a round robin, okay, multiples, and all kinds of ideas come up. Okay. All kinds of ideas come up. And because you've got to stop asking the how and start focusing on the why. Okay? And sometimes that's a very difficult thing to do if you've never had, the volume to do that. Okay. To meaning if you've never had the experience levels of, multiple cases to where you can reflect off of that one and what did that teach us? Okay. What did that teach us? Okay. And all of those groups get together. I mean, and as you did the thing on Letitia a long time ago, but at the time, we had like 9 kids, remember? 8 or 9 kids.
It was a lot.
Right. And so we were having county meetings. Okay. And we were all comparing notes about, what are you doing in your case? What are you doing in your case? What are you doing in your case? And so this poor guy doesn't have those resources. He has the card team that can come in and say, okay, well, this is what you need to be doing, A, B, C, and D. But eventually they got to go on to the next one. Okay? And, at this point, absolutely, they can use YouTube's as evidence. Yeah, Barb. Yeah. And I hope they do. I'll put my hand up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did it 2 weeks ago.
I mean, if they say it and it comes out of their mouth and it's recorded, that's another thing that the poor lead investigator probably has to do is go through a lot of stuff like that as well. And there is a lot. They've been very active in talking. They don't say much other than, you got to read between the lines, but they're constantly talking about, just things in general, contradicting themselves, forgetting about Summer, and Don saying that there's no evidence. It's very clear that, Don has incriminated himself in other crimes online that I'm sure will be used when the time is necessary. But, it is a very, very frustrating case. I mean, but it's been that way since day one. And I know people start to really, I guess, not get burnt out, but become extremely frustrated. But it really, truly is standard for these kinds of cases, man. They're, and what he said was that he believes that if she's found, she'll be found somewhere close. to me, that is shaking the tree a bit. That is, look, guys, we're really looking local here. We'll work other angles if need be. We'll go wherever the evidence leads us, but we're working. He talked about foliage, how she could easily fit through it. He said, we're not completely giving up on the abduction theory, but we have nothing that indicates that. And so I believe that we're going to stick here. To me, and maybe I'm just an optimist, that is good news. I mean, when I say good news, it means that they're actively working this thing, man. And he works it. He's telling you guys, he's telling all of us, I work this every day. I work it every day. It's the first thing I do. And you're right, Chris. I did notice when he said not only he goes to his caseload, he goes, but he gets new cases on top of that. Not just the 5, 6 or whatever he's got that he's been working on for months, or, who knows how long he's working on other cases. He's getting new cases put on his desk. And
yeah, that's what I heard right away. I mean, and because I know that feeling.
Detective, yeah, hey, you got a new case. Oh man.
Right. I mean, think about it, right? So how, you get a new file dropped on you. Okay. And you've got more victims that you have to go out and, serve, because that's what, agencies do. They serve the public. Okay. So that means something's going to get sacrificed. And, and I could hear that the moment he said it. It's like, oh boy. Fortunately, again, I mean, we didn't have that problem as a whole. I mean, we got dropped on homicide case. I mean, we had 3 murders in one night, and who's going to pull what, right? And so you get really busy. But with a missing kid, then if you're assigned as the case agent, if the agency has the resources, then if they don't, then they need to pull TBI in and let go of some of the, investigative, challenges, and let some of those state agents, grab some of those leads and chase them. Okay. Now, some of that happens, but, a lot of agencies get to a point where, like he says, where sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, sometimes we're chasing our tail, based on some of the, garbage coming in, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, no question.
And so, I think this guy wants to go 200 miles an hour. And unfortunately, I sensed it in his voice anyway. And, listening to that, where the first thing he said is, well, and then I go check my dailies. Okay. My daily case, well, bummer. Okay. Free him up. Let him do what he needs to do.
Was that him telling us, or was he maybe even hinting towards?
I don't think, I just think, he's being genuine. Yeah. He's just saying,
but he's not saying to his bosses, hey, like I'm working hard here.
No, there's no maliciousness in any.
I wouldn't think it's malicious, but him just saying like, maybe I need more time dedicated, or he's just basically just saying, look, man, I'm working. I promise you.
Yeah. What the sheriff should do is give him his own, room, a war room. Okay. And let the, assign a multiple task force, 5 or 6 guys. Okay. Just like they did up in Michigan, where we were just at. Okay. They had 5 guys. They got 5 guys on that task force now. Okay. For that case. And in this case, they need to have 4 or 5 guys. Everybody chips in. Every agency says, I'll pay for my guys. Okay. So it's not coming out of the sheriff's budget. Okay. Or you go to the FBI and say, look, I need some grant money, or I need some resources from you guys. Take some dope guys from some of the HIDTA teams, there. They've got a human trafficking team up there, up in TBI. You take 2 guys from each and you put 5 guys on it, or 4 guys with the case agent, and you give them a room. You say, okay, go. And you put a supervisor over that team. And what they do is they do summer wells, period. That's it. And if it takes a year, then that's what it takes. Okay. But everybody's paying for their own members to be there, their own people to be on that mini task force. And they can, whoever wins at the end can all, stand in front of the press and say, look what we did. Well, good. But let's find Summer, right? And now this is, I know, and you let that case agent, kind of direct where things go, because that guy has the most knowledge. He eats, sleeps, drinks this case. And if he's leaning towards that property, and they have, exhausted that property, it doesn't mean she can't still be there.
Correct.
Okay. And that is exactly, so we've got to, let him do his thing. It sounds like he's, in my opinion, I mean, just knowing what I know, and going over there and seeing it, smelling it, tasting it in terms of, in the house, the property, the arena, i.e. the geographic profiling of it. That is some very difficult terrain, but the folks up there are really good people, and you have a lot of citizen resources as well. You have a lot of citizen resources. So they sometimes, you have to stick, with the possibility of, okay, we did that. Yeah, let's do it again. Okay, let's do it again. I mean, can I say this?
Whatever you want.
No, I had a caper really where we had gone out and checked this arena, this area, geographic profile area, with cadaver dogs, okay, and found nothing. And the next day, I was back at my house, and I had just this thought, an impression had come over me. I said, go back out and check. I just thought, man, we missed something. I know it, right? So I called the person that had the dog, and the dog's name was Scout. And her name was Lynn, and I called Lynn. She's with the SAR, the Search and Rescue in San Diego. And I said, look, I know you're going to get mad at me because we were out there yesterday, but I just have a feeling we need to go back. And she's like, there's no way that's going to happen. My captain, my boss, yada, yada, is going to say no. And I said, look, just, trust me, can you just, meet me there? And she's like, McDonough. I said, please. She does. Okay. She goes, all right, for you, I'll meet you out there. I said, great. So she met me out there. Okay? It was just she and I. And she goes, where do you want to go? Now, mind you, the day before we had found another victim. It was another homicide, when we went, that way to the left. And, she goes, we went all over there. I said, I know, let's go over here. Go this way. Okay. 15 minutes. She found the victim. The dog hit the victim. Okay. So that's a perfect, a simple example of, you just keep going back, and, you stick to it till it sticks to you, and you just keep grinding. So I would say to that lead detective, you're doing a heck of a job. Sure. I know where your heart is. Keep going. Right. Keep going. Stick to it till it sticks to you. And hopefully you're able to get freed up from that daily case log.
Yeah. And we got to be supportive and not, it's easy. I see these memes of like a fat guy watching a football game, and the wide receiver misses it, and the guy is sitting there like with his belly hanging out eating nachos going, I would have caught that, or can't believe he didn't catch that, and that kind of stuff comes to mind, because we all think that we could do better than, this guy's a trained investigator. he works it every day. But Mimi J2 says, is the case cold in unspoken terms due to other cases taking precedent? That's a great question. What do you think, Chris?
I think the case is in between leads. That's what I heard.
Yeah. I don't think it's cold.
No, it's not cold yet.
No, I don't think so. And I know a really good foundation that works on cold cases. If ever this case may go cold, I know a couple people they could call, and that would probably help out.
Well, remember, we said that in the very beginning. Remember, I said, no matter what, okay, if this case ever runs out of gas, okay, the Cold Case Foundation's been on the ground with this from day one.
Right.
In terms of 3 weeks after when we got up there.
Right.
And when I got up there.
And it's not something that any of us are really willing to let go of. Like you said, things do run out of gas, but there are other people ready to help when and if that is, needed. Here's a question here. Why can't they just get a warrant to search the property? As far as I know, that they have searched the property, but I don't know. It seems as though now the lawyers are involved. So yeah, you would have to get. But what is it? 50? Is it? The man that was on, I'm sorry, I forget his name. You had him on your show yesterday.
Billy.
Yeah, absolutely great show, by the way. And I've been thinking about that case all day. And it baffles me. And go over to the interview room if you didn't catch him at a specific time yesterday. He was on at noon Pacific, at 3:00 East Coast. And absolutely fascinating, devastating case. By the way, something that has gone on. How long has it been going on now? This case of the missing lady.
April 25th would be the 1-year anniversary.
And a lot of these missing body cases. They just take time, folks. They really, really do. But why, what is stopping them from getting a warrant and going up there and just digging the hill up?
Well, I don't know how many warrants they've had to date. Number one, in relationship to searching the property. Okay. So if they, executed that warrant and, they left a receipt, because that's what you have to do. If you take anything, you got to leave, a receipt on the property. Okay. And then you have to deliver the warrant back to the court. Okay. And then you, as the affiant, the guy who signed the affidavit, have to tell the judge, here's the evidence receipt. Here's a copy of the evidence receipt. We left it there on the property, and the evidence is, chain of custody is current and correct, and it's in our evidence facility. So if they found something on that property, that is the procedure that they would have to go through. So once they do that, okay, then they have to have additional probable cause, or reasonable suspicion that they missed something, and or they have additional evidence that is pointing towards, something else on that property. Okay, because remember, you get one bite of the apple. Okay? If you need multiple bites of the apple, remember in Barry's case in Colorado, okay, they had to go back multiple times, and when you watch the videos, well, now you know why. Okay, I mean, do you have a bag? They're sending the suspect to go find a bag. What? That's just my opinion. Okay. But that said, I'm not talking about that one right now. But right. If we look at, in Summer's case, did they find anything on that property? The only other way around it, okay, is consent from the property owners, i.e. the parents or whoever's names on that house and that land. They can consent all day long and say, yeah, you guys can come back here and do this again. Okay. Yeah, the legalities are frustrating. It very much is. And so that's why my interview is critical, quite frankly, because I don't have any rules anymore. I know the rules. I know all the rules. Okay. And I've got many people in prison because of the rules. Okay. But I don't have those rules anymore. Literally. And so it's great being a volunteer citizen slash, somebody, who's been there, done that.
Yeah. And the comment there at the bottom of the screen, yeah, she does say no more. She doesn't want people on her property anymore. She says that they've dug around there enough. It doesn't, I don't know if they have asked. I don't know if they're going to ask. They may have said, look, we've really torn that. She's not on the property, but she could be close to the property. They can go search out in the woods all they want. I mean, they do need to get, obviously, can you imagine though, if a property owner was to tell them, no, you're not searching out here? To talk about, what is that? You call it, DNR. So,
yeah, doesn't look right.
Oh, it's DNR. Does not look right.
Yeah, DLR, right.
DLR.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that would look like though? I mean, so I don't believe that they have turned down any searches, but we don't know that. And we just, they don't tell us that, and they don't have to.
No,
very well could have. And he said that lawyers are now involved. That is frustrating to him, because anything that they're going to have to get consent or a warrant from here on out. At this point, they really don't benefit from just letting law enforcement walk onto their property, because Candace doesn't like law enforcement. I mean, she never has, she never will. It's the same old story with them, but I just can't, I keep going back to where he says that his belief is that if she's found, it'll be close. That to me speaks volumes. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know. Do you think I am? Maybe.
No, I mean, he said it. And what exactly does that infer? I mean, you have to think through the very first couple of days. Go back to the very first couple of days. What was happening in those days during that time? Everybody was being interviewed, mom, grandma, the whole family, the boys, etc. Everybody's being interviewed. And then you start listening to the minutia details about how it was being described in public, i.e. the public persona, okay? And what was not being said in private, i.e. the LE investigation interviews. Are there conflicts in their stories? Are there consistencies in their stories? And you start measuring those, right? And this is where, investigative skills come on, where, you do the 10 filters of profiling. You put 10 pieces of paper up on the wall, and you stop asking the question, how did this occur? And you start asking, why did this occur? Why is Summer missing? Okay. Not how is she missing, right? Was she abducted? Was she blah, blah, blah? Okay. Why is she missing is the first question. Okay. And then from there, okay, you start seeing the hows. And so you start coming in, and this is what we did. I mean, the Cold Case Foundation, I mean, I had Coop, I had Dean, myself, and others. We put a little round table together off screen, obviously off of YouTube. And we said, okay, here's what we have. Okay. And I showed all the videos, and everybody was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. But you remember we have the victim risk continuum. And while everybody, while the projection to the public, from dad is, well, she was abducted. I know she was abducted. I told him she was abducted, and he stuck to that, and he still is on that line. Okay. If that's what he believes. Okay. Statistically, what does that show us in relationship to a subject, a predator who would take that risk to come up there in the middle of the day? And you start measuring all of those known behavioral traits and characteristics, and you apply it to that victim risk continuum. But don't forget that the suspect is also taking a risk coming up that hill. Okay. And that means, how did he know that moment she was going to be in that position on that hill? Okay. Well, statistically, I think you have a better chance of, calling out who's going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Okay. And so once you do that, then you look at the L, environment, situation, circumstance, high or low, medium, high risk. And you ask yourself, okay, well, what's the environment? Well, the environment is, pretty rough. Okay. So you can put that kind of at a medium. Okay. What's the situation? Well, she allegedly disappears, if you listen to mom the first time, anywhere between 2 and 10 minutes. She's gone. She's out of the picture. Okay. So that is somewhat problematic. But where is she? Well, she's in a basement, allegedly, at her house. Low risk. Okay. And the reason for that low risk is a random high-risk offender would have to know that low-risk victim is down in that dungeon that very moment. Okay. That statistically, low risk. You keep it over here on the bottom. And then, environment, situation, circumstance. Well, what's the circumstance? Mom really doesn't know. She sent her in the house. She evaporated. Where is she? She's in the basement. Low risk. So there's a higher probability. Okay. There's a higher probability. Okay, that this was definitely not a random abduction. Okay. And there's a higher probability, though, that the subject, if she was taken, knows the family and or has a connection to that property in that house and knows that environment within that house. So then you start circling those types of, individuals. And that's where all the, the drugs and the alcohol and all that other stuff, the SA, history, and all of that becomes extremely relevant, okay, in the early phases of this investigation. And that's why they went after, all the people that they did. And then you start measuring that against, okay, what's the behavioral evidence going to tell us here? What's it saying? How many stories do we have? That's all evidence. What's true? What's not true? Who's using drugs? Why are they using drugs? Who's coming to the house, to sell drugs? Are they going off property to buy drugs? Where are they buying their alcohol? What about the boys? What about the kids? And you start, compiling all that through CPS. You go pull all the reports, you pull all the CAD stuff, and it all comes into this bucket, i.e. the investigative binders that he's talking about. Okay. And you as a case agent start digesting all of this stuff. And then you have your war room where you start putting on the wall. Okay. Why is this being said? Why does that look like that? Why are they not on the surveillance video? Oh, wait, over here they are. Okay, done. Okay. What about this? And then you start looking at all of the, information coming in from the electronics evidence, from, the evidence, evidence response teams from the feds and the CAS teams where they send everything out to Quantico and get it all broken down. This guy, this detective, in my opinion, is, he's a good guy and he's working hard, but he needs more resources.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with everything you said there. um, here's a here's a good question. If it was an accident and they hid Summer's body and they called 911, how much trouble are they in? Just like the West, unfortunately, they did something to Classic and Sincere. They're in a lot of trouble. I mean, it is. I mean, it's. Sometimes they say that the cover up is worse than the actual crime. Yeah, I mean, it's a life in prison type situation, and they know that, and that's why they don't really. I said this the other day on my show, Chris. If they could produce Summer alive, they would do it, and all this goes away, but they can't. So it's not going away. It's never going to go away until Summer is found, either alive or deceased. And to me, that's just the start of everything, is finding her. To me, that's when the investigation really gets going, because you know, they don't necessarily need it. They don't need Summer's body to prosecute, but that is what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for, first and foremost. And if they really truly feel that she's close, it would be hard to imagine a scenario where she was alive in that area. I mean, her, you know, she should be everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of hoopla and things like that, but if she's in the area, I believe that they're not looking for her. He brought up foliage. She can fit into places. They could be looking for they're looking for a little, in this, I don't mean to sound, as you would call it, I don't mean to sound crass or anything like that, but they're looking for a little body. And he's saying that that's hard to do in the terrain that they're looking. And it is hard to do. That's just, the place is vast. I mean, it is vast. It is why it just spans forever. And there's a million places that she could be. And that's the thing, is that's why they have those no body homicides, because they go, look, some people are just good at hiding bodies. No question about it. But all the other evidence, the circumstantial evidence, let's let it make sense evidence, they're going to have to rely on a lot of that here. They're going to have to rely on a lot of the phone data. They're going to have to rely on testimony. We don't know what the boys know. We don't exactly know what Hunter has told TBI, but I'll tell you what Hunter told Chris McDonough. He believes that they did something with her. He was with them on June 15th, and he says that he thinks that they did something with Summer, because she didn't go missing that long after he was dropped off. They know what they're looking for. They know, don't get it wrong, they know who's in their scopes. The 10,000 pound elephant in the room is everything's on the table, but Don and Candace are the number 1 and 2 suspects in the case.
Well, I think they're persons of interest for sure. Okay, that's
Sure.
right. I mean, just, they can't be taken out of the circle. Okay?
No.
They can't be. There's 3 people in the circle. Okay, there's Grandma, there's DW, and there's CW. Okay, in that circle. Then there's another circle. Okay? The second circle is, what are the possibilities? And this is where, the detective talks about, okay, well, obviously we can't take that off the table yet, i.e. the abduction theory. Okay. Highly unlikely, but it's still, it's kind of over, over here, way over here, way over here. Okay. Because again, you just never know. You just never know until you have, somebody comes up and says, okay, this is what happened. Then okay. And then you say, okay, good. What happened? But at this point, all the evidence, i.e. the behavioral evidence, the geographic evidence, the video evidence, all the phone evidence, all of the evidence is saying, okay, we don't think this is a random abduction. Now, could it be an abduction? Not a random abduction, i.e. a stranger coming up. Okay, because remember, the perpetrator who would take this risk is a high risk offender, SA offender. Okay. And within 3 hours, okay, that baby is gone, i.e. off the earth. Okay. They take their lives within 3 hours. Okay. Statistically. So that means if that high risk offender is that person in this case, Summer's gone. Okay. Summer's gone. If that was the case, they don't believe that. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. That's like a Wesley Allen Dodd. And this is what I've been saying for a long time. Those are the kind of guys that go hunting for children. Now they exist. They're out there, but they're hunters. Okay? Literally. Okay? And so in this case, it's like, well, she just went down to play, with the toys. Okay. Allegedly. Okay. The hunter's not looking around, that property, knowing that she's downstairs playing, with toys. Okay. And so now then you go, okay, so who's in this circle here? We've got the 3 boys, we got dad, we got mom, and we got grandma. They're in that circle. Okay. Well, the boys didn't do it. Take them out of it. Move them over here. Okay. Now, could they have done, could they have been playing games? Could something have happened? Okay. Maybe. All right. Well, then let's look at that possibility, right? Accident, put it up on the board. And then the second one is obvious, is what's the history of the family? And we all know what that is now, by now. Okay. If you don't, go watch every one of Josh's videos and you'll get it pretty quickly.
Go watch Chris's interviews and just take a look at the surrounding.
And so from there, now it's like, okay, well, what do we have now? We're 10 months into this. What resources have we exhausted, i.e. the PD, just kind of projecting the thought process? What resources have they exhausted? Well, they've come out and told us how many search warrants, how many interviews. They've used, ground penetrating radar. They've used cadaver dogs. They've used, 132 agencies, i.e. resources and volunteers. Okay. How many times have they done that? 3 times, right? At least 3 times. And right now they don't, and they're looking, for a small child. Okay? They're looking for a small child, but let's be realistic about this now. Okay? They're searching those hills in the ground. We all want to have hope that, this poor little baby's still with us, and I'm never going to give up hope. But at the same time, like you were saying earlier, let's be realistic potentially here. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that, folks need to get out there in the spring here and walk around their own properties around that area and see if there's anything out there. Okay? I mean, we found Leticia Hernandez 1.5 years later.
Right.
And I found her clothing. And that was a day where my heart just dropped to the floor. And that's going to be the day that this lead investigator potentially, could have the same. But Elizabeth Smart is a good example that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Let's stay in that lane for sweet Summer.
Here's a 2-minute. This is the newest.
Oh, wow.
It just came up. I'd been keeping my eye out.
Okay.
And so let's hear the part 3 here.
Hawkins County 6-year-old Summer Wells. And for the first time, we're hearing from the lead investigator at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office in charge of the case. Tonight, he tells us
Let me make sure.
Not a direct line of communication.
this case forward.
The family has
as Summer's father remains in jail. Tonight,
Just want to
News
make
Channel
sure that
11
wasn't the
dives
same
deeper
one.
into the disappearance of Hawkins County 6-year-old Summer Wells. And for the first time, we're hearing from the lead investigator at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office in charge of the case. Tonight, he tells us what the Wells family relationship with law enforcement looks like now, as Summer's father remains in jail and lawyers are involved.
In February, Sheriff Ronnie Lawson told News Channel 11 that the Wells family had lawyers and were no longer cooperating. The lead investigator for the case explained how that, as well as how her father's current stint in jail on unrelated charges, hasn't moved this case forward.
the family has attorneys involved, and that is not a direct line of communication.
That tone is quite the change from what it was last year when Summer was first reported missing.
It was pretty good. We would show up about every day, make sure that they were okay, and had a decent line of communication with them.
About a month later, in July, Child Protective Services removed her 3 older brothers from their home and appointed attorneys to the case.
They have been appointed for other instances, but it bleeds over into this investigation as well.
Summer Wells' father, Don, was arrested late last year for driving under the influence and violating probation.
Going off of that, obviously we know that Don Wells is incarcerated here. Does that play a role at all in this investigation?
No, ma'am.
On February 7th, a judge ordered him to serve the remainder of his 11 months and 29-day sentence in the Hawkins County Jail.
With Mr. Wells, he knows when he first came into the institution, he knows at any time he wants to talk to let their staff know, and I'll get to him as quick as I can.
But Pruitt hopes the Wells family knows, despite the other legal troubles, they can reach out anytime.
Communication between me and the family have changed, but I hope that they still understand that they can come talk to me at any time they want to.
You can find all of today's coverage from our interview with Detective Pruitt, as well as more in-depth reports on the Search for Summer section of our website.
Well,
10-8, as I used to say,
oops.
No, that's diplomatic speak for they're not talking.
Yeah, he's being polite.
Yeah, I mean, it bleeds over. Okay, that means Don, any good lawyer, any good defense attorney would say, shut up. Don't
And that's
say
what
a
they've
word.
done.
Huh?
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the early on, we had a good communication. Okay, well, that's speak for, before the attorneys got involved. Okay, and in any case, you always have good communication with, potentially even the suspect. Okay?
Yeah, right away, initially, correct.
Yeah, and that could last actually for months and months. Okay, and I've even had them, longer than that. And you just kind of hold on and put your seatbelt on. Okay, and now what he meant by once they got court appointed attorneys. Okay, remember Don talks about that on his call. Okay, he avoided me for 4 days, and when he finally calls me, he apologizes. If you listen to his call, he starts off the very beginning of the call apologizing. Okay, because she's like, well, man, I really want to cooperate with you, but I have attorneys. And I'm like, okay, so
doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I'm again, the rules don't apply.
No,
to me. They apply to him. Okay.
Right.
And
by the way, he's violated every gag order he's ever had.
Exactly. It's not like, You
It's
just
so funny. Can you imagine being their attorney? It's just like, "Ugh, here we go again." Did you hear what Don said? He has 7 alibis. I mean, just imagine having to deal with that nightmare. And by the way, on your show the other day with Mary, I know that it's not funny, but I got a chuckle hearing that Don was the most difficult person that he's ever had to talk to, deal with, because I've talked to Don and dealt with him, and he sucks. He's a pain in the butt, man. He's a mean, grouchy, vindictive guy. You cross him, and 1 second it's everything. So I know exactly what that guy's talking about, because you've dealt with that as well.
yeah. And when I say the rules don't apply, I'm talking about Miranda. I'm talking about all of the things that the PMPs, policies and procedures, SOPs, standard operating procedures. Those rules don't apply to me anymore. Okay, what applies to me is don't violate anybody's civil or legal rights. Okay, and that's why I've treated them with the utmost respect from day one. Okay, and I'll continue to do so. And but the truth, the truth here is a constant. And unfortunately, that truth has expanded across the United States. Did you catch the LE said the boys were moved for unrelated reasons, but it bled into the disappearance? Yeah, I heard that, because what he meant by that, right, from my opinion, listening to it, Melissa, was the fact that, now that they have attorneys, okay, the lead investigators have to stay away until that, even the CPS stuff gets resolved. Okay, so it was kind of they stepped over each other. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just to say also, he when he talks about, look, Don, I know right where Don is. Don knows my phone number. He knows I'll get to him. He's my priority. If he wants to talk to me, he knows how to get a hold of me, but he's not getting a hold of me, and he's not talking to me. They are, make no mistake about it, what he said is they are not communicating in this case anymore. They haven't for some time, it seems like. He said that. Go ahead and finish up your thought, Chris. Sorry about that.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that many times. I mean, they're saying one thing in what persona? The public persona, but what's happening in the secret life?
Right.
It ain't happening.
Right.
And that's where we want to focus on that.
And it
secret life.
always reminds me of, the Cal City case. Everybody's going, the police department needs to be fired. They need new investigators. They need, I obviously never, I don't believe that was ever the case. And I support these investigators and the length of the investigation. There's no rule book or anything. These things can go on for a long time. And all of a sudden, one day, there's an arrest warrant issued just out of nowhere. And I do believe that is what's going to happen in this case as well. I've thought that from day one, but I never knew, how long it would take. I always go back to the Casey Anthony, quarter of a mile from her house, maybe not even a quarter of a mile off the side of the road. Equus search. You had horseback riders. They went everywhere. FBI, the card team, everybody. Okay. And she was a quarter mile from her house. A meter reader found her. That's how a lot of these cases get solved. Just some random day. There's turkey season, and some turkey hunters find something. You know what I mean? It's just those. It seems like those kind of things happen. But I do believe that we will all one day wake up and go, "Wow, there it is."
Yeah, and I think part of the catalyst to that as well, I agree with you, somebody's going to find something. But I think the catalyst potentially to that is going to be this.
Yes.
They're already turning on each other. And we're witnessing it in real time on YT here.
Yeah, it's fascinating the way that it has played out and the way it is playing out.
I'm going a bingo card 500 on each, so for a total of 1,000. Okay, on each. So I'm literally just sitting back going, okay, let's see where this is going to go.
Yeah, I also think
Hey,
I'm not a bingo player, but and I don't think you are either. But
oh, I'm a mean bingo player, let me tell you.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Do you have the little blotch thingies that they use?
Hey, I can go any way you need to, mister.
Hey, I'll take E7.
Bingo.
Let me get E7s, all right? Bingos. Buddy, put my stuff.
Exactly. Don't push my bingo.
Did you really have to discipline him by what'd you say? You gave him a timeout in the bathroom?
What?
Buddy, when he gets upset.
Buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that little bugger.
I know.
Yeah, I put him in there, and then he pooped in my shower. Sorry.
Dude,
that's what he did.
When he was like, upset,
what
wasn't he?
did you do? And he just looked at me like, take that.
He was mad.
He did. He just looked at me like, yeah, bring it.
Oh, man.
I'm like, you little Jack Russell, get over here.
That's how Otis is.
And man, he jetted out of the shower, and thank goodness it was the shower. So, but I love that little guy. He is so funny.
Aren't their temperaments are just unbelievable. The personalities that you come to learn from these, like Otis is 7 months old now. And I mean, he acts like a puppy. He looks fresh like a puppy in the face. But I mean, he's good size. He's almost full grown. I mean, he's got a little more muscle to put on, but man, like when he gets upset, he throws real tantrums like a child. Throws himself on the ground, kicks his feet.
Let me see where he's at. Go ahead, keep talking. I want to see.
He is just a absolute
he's
terror. Is he in custody?
Yeah, he's in bed.
Roger that. That's probably the best place for him. And Chris, I really appreciate you popping in, man. I know it's getting late back there, but thank you so much for coming on and kind of explaining your thoughts. And you're always a voice of reason. And like I said, the Justice for D. Sorry, what is D's last name? That they're looking
Warner.
For? D. Warner out of Michigan.
Yeah, and that case is getting interesting by the day.
Yep,
interesting by the day.
And it's taken a lot of time, hasn't it?
It has. We've been on it for just over a month now.
Yeah,
but
it goes back how many? Almost a year now.
Yeah, she'll be the 25th, and there's going to be a ceremony for her up in Michigan on the 23rd, in terms of family getting together and friends and everybody, and just raising awareness for that woman up there. And she's a sweetheart. And again, it goes back to the DV problem that we're having in this country, and where men just think they can do whatever they want to, and just a trigger warning. I'm going to talk about some DV stuff here. Guys got to keep their hands to themselves, period. There's no such rule that allows anyone to touch, hurt, punch, choke, grab, push down, nothing. It does not justify anything to any guy to do that. You have no right to do that. We need to stop. Men need to stop doing that to women, period. And relationships, we got to get back to having the ability to communicate. And that's how it is. That's the rules. And no means no, exactly. And
it was said on your show yesterday, and it really resonated with me when your guest said so eloquently that he heard somebody recently say, love makes you do crazy things. And he says, no, it doesn't. Love is patient. Love is kind.
Yep.
And when he said that, not that I didn't know that, but you can make an argument that love makes you do all kinds of things. No, rage makes you do that. Jealousy makes you do that. You don't own anybody. Nobody owns you. You're not property. You're not subservient to anybody. Nobody has the right to physically threaten you. You don't have to be treated bad. Like I said, I come from a family of domestic violence where the ultimate price is paid. So that message resonates with me. And that's what we're out here promoting. It's just, you got to treat people right. I said this at the beginning of the show, Chris, is that, you can tell how full some people's cups are by the way that they treat and talk about others just in general.
And you know where you see it? You see it in restaurants.
Yes, you do.
How a person treats somebody serving them at a restaurant is a good indicator of how you're going to get treated. Okay. It really is. And by the way, it's not always reserved just for guys. Okay. There is that small percentage where, I shared you with you behind the scenes where that gal hit me in the head with a frying pan.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I was hit in the head with a frying pan before by, a DV victim. I was hit with remember those old crystal ashtrays? We got called to a caper, and this gal, she reaches over and grabs the ashtray off the side of a nightstand in their bedroom. And I had asked her, we separated them, and I took her into the bedroom, and we keep the door open so we can always see each other, right? Partners in these kind of problems. Mm-hmm. And I was looking over here, and she reaches and grabs this ashtray and just hurls it and, hits me. And I'm like, well, that's going to leave a mark. Now you go to jail. Okay. And, the other thing is, but I got to be honest with you, all the DVs that I ever, responded to, and there were a lot, probably 98%, is the guy. It's like, alcohol, drugs, temper, too much machismo, get yourself a Coke and a bag of chips and get out of here.
Yeah.
I hook them up, take them to prison.
Book them, Dan.
It needs to stop it. And it's just gotten worse. It's gotten worse. I don't think the pandemic, we're going to see some numbers come up, I would make a prediction that there's going to be some serious numbers coming up, unfortunately, because of, the COVID problem.
Mm.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it is unquestionable that domestic violence is on the rise. And there's so many reasons why, but the number one reason is people need to act right. I mean, that's it. That is how it's going to end. People need to be more aware, and people need to know that they don't have to put up with it, because they don't. Speak up, say something. We're far more valuable than we all give ourselves credit for. We all look at ourselves and go, well, I know why I'm treated that way. I'm worthless. That's not true. That's the impression that maybe you've been given by somebody else, hammered into your head. But we're all valuable. We're all worthy of respect and love. And I was talking to somebody today, and I was saying, you know, I don't think, and I listened, I thought about it. I said, you know, I don't even think I've ever called my sister a mean word. I've gotten mad at her. I told her she was being crazy or not smart, or that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen somebody do. But I was just thinking back, and I go, I'm proud of that because of where we came from. You know, it's not, it's normal. Look, we fought. You know, we had she's my older sister, but it was never a disrespectful, you know, conversation. It was never it's mudslinging, name calling. You know, that stuff's got to stop too. You know, that is emotional terrorism. You know, it's just words mean a lot too. They really, really do mean a lot. And we got to really watch the way that we talk to people. And if you know somebody who talks down to people in front of you, don't think that it won't come back to you eventually. If they're capable of that kind of venom, it can come back to you. Don't think that you're safe either from it. These people need to be held responsible for their actions. And, you know, we could go on and on about that forever. Chris, thank you so much for being here. It was a nice, pleasant surprise as always. And I'm sure we'll do something here shortly in the future. People saying that they want me to release another a voicemail. I got a couple in the bank, but you know, I'll save them. You know, I just have a compilation, and we'll do it another time for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna. How's the Letitia thing coming? By the way, can I ask?
Yeah, I'm almost done. It should be done probably end of the week. Yeah, and
Perfect.
it'll be in the mail.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
All right. Good to
All
see
right,
you,
buddy.
Chris. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. Aloha.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Be good to each other. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for being here. What a pleasant surprise that was.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not really. It is to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
My name is Josh Diaz. This is the lab.
I have to put her
Thank you for being here.
on the side.
Where is Summer?
and worry
I'm
about
gonna
the
do
boys.
what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not really. It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know. That's real tough.
You guys have a good night. Thank you.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not really. It is to me. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.